the firestorm officials had feared becoming a reality, with a third out-of-control wildfire exploding overnight in the Los Angeles area.
At the end of the day, I mean, who's ready for something like this?
Overnight, flames reaching the iconic Malibu neighborhood and its beachfront homes. In the coastal neighborhood Pacific Palisades, multiple homes completely engulfed in flames, with desperate residents rushing to get out. Planes flying above the area, capturing the massive reach of the inferno. The fire jumping Pacific Coast Highway, burning all the way to the ocean, even threatening the famed Getty Villa Art Museum. And 2 more fires igniting overnight, spreading to Pasadena, where this Jewish temple erupted in flames.
It's like a bad, horrific dream.
In Altadena, dramatic video showing elderly patients being evacuated from a senior center. The Palisades fire igniting mid-morning Tuesday, with the area's hilly, winding roads quickly clogging with cars.
The homeowners are saying they're unable to access any exit routes. There's fire on both sides of the roads.
We are in bumper-to-bumper traffic right now as hundreds of people try to get out. You can see flames here on both sides of the road with very little visibility. Many abandoning their vehicles to flee on foot.
Policemen started telling everybody, get out of your car, leave your car if you want to live.
A bulldozer brought in to clear a path, pushing dozens of cars out of the way. Smoke from the growing fire darkening the skies. This man breaking down, desperate to reach his dogs.
I've been trying to get to my house for 5 hours.
Later reunited, his house thankfully saved. Overnight, a high school up in flames. The fire hitting some of California's most famed areas, home to iconic houses and sites, and many celebrities. Chris Pratt posting overnight, please send prayers and strength to those affected. James Woods posting this video of the fires approaching his home. Beloved actor Steve Guttenberg among those stepping up to help his neighbors.
When things like this occur, you really realize how vulnerable you are and how important community is.
Scenes of unbelievable devastation and loss as the relentless winds fueling these fires show no signs of letting up.
Now here in Malibu, the Palisades fire continues to spread. Officials say one firefighter suffered an injury, a serious head injury battling this fire. There are also multiple burn victims. LA Fire is stretched so thin right now that they put out an all call asking any off-duty firefighters to come and help them fight these fires. And the scary part, guys, we are still in the middle of this windstorm with these strong winds not expected to let up.
Shalom, Mubaraka, Mishpaka, peace and blessings, family. In this video, we're going to be talking about these fires in Los Angeles, specifically northern Los Angeles, guys. The areas where the wealthy folk live. Not just any wealthy folk, the people who run Hollywood. Let me just put it like that. We're talking about Hollywood, we're talking about Beverly Hills, we're talking about that whole area. Celebrities are fleeing their homes. Guys, there is an entire hurricane of fire, a whirlwind of fire over northern Los Angeles, guys. The video before last, I was just talking about Ophanim that we're seeing in the sky, and on the East Coast and on the West Coast, many of which were also seen in Los Angeles. And I said, this means war. This is a war against the forces of Yah and the forces of evil that's taking place. I told you guys this. Then in my last video, I told you about the bastard who dwells in Ashdod. And I'm going to be talking about that again. Yahuwah said a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. If you don't know where the lands are, you will not understand prophecy. Zechariah 9:5. Ashkelon shall see it and fear. Gaza also shall see it and be very sorrowful. And Ekron for her expectation shall be ashamed. And the king shall perish from Gaza. And Ashkelon shall not be inhabited. When it says see it and fear, what are they talking about? Let's go up. It's basically talking about the destruction of Tyre and Sidon. Yahuwah destroying these people by war and by natural disasters. So then all the other people of the coast, the land of Philistines, they'll see it and be ashamed and scared. More context of what was supposed to happen to the Philistines. Ezekiel 25:15. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, because the Philistines have dealt by revenge and have taken vengeance with a despiteful heart to destroy it for the old hatred. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, behold, I will stretch out mine hand upon the Philistines, and I will cut off the Cherethims, and destroy the remnant of the sea coast. And I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes. And they shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. Now, this is what you have to understand. The entire sea coast was decimated by the Spaniards for 400 years, or about 300, almost 400 years, between the late 1500s and the early 1800s. The Spaniards were decimating the California population. And then in the 1850s, when the United States government claimed California, United States citizens got paid about $5 for every Indian that they killed. So just imagine how many more people died in that massacre, because people want a lot of money. $5 was a big thing back then. That was the Philistines, that was the Cherethims, that was the any remnant of the Canaanites in California decimated. The only indigenous population in California still today would definitely be the Israelites, Yisraelim. Okay. Another prophecy, Zephaniah 2 verse 4. For Gaza shall be forsaken, and Ashkelon a desolation, and they shall drive out Ashdod at the noonday, and Ekron shall be rooted up. Woe unto the inhabitants of the seacoast, the nation of the Cherethites. The word of Yahuwah is against you, O Canaan, the land of the Philistines. I will even destroy thee, that there shall be no inhabitant. So I'm telling you guys, this is what happened when the Spaniards moved into California. They decimated the population. And it says in verse 6, and the seacoast shall be dwellings and cottages for shepherds and folds for flocks. Because after they completely eliminated the indigenous population, they moved sheep into the region and cattle into the region and made that area farmland to graze the sheep upon. Okay, that's a historical fact.
And the San Joaquin drains the southern end of the Great Valley, flowing northward to the delta and the bay. Now we see that the valley is high at the north and south ends and slopes to nearly sea level where the two rivers meet. In the days of the early settlers, cattle were raised in the northern part of the Great Valley. In the long, hot summers, they could be driven up into the green meadows of the nearby mountains. But some areas in the Sacramento Valley were so dry that only sheep could be grazed profitably. Far to the south in the San Joaquin Valley, there was so little rainfall that millions of acres were wasteland.
And then it said, and the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah. They shall feed thereupon in the houses of Ashkelon. They shall lie down in the evening, for Yahuwah their Elohim shall visit them and turn away their captivity. Then the coast will be for the remnant of the house of Judah. Understand why? Because the land of Philistines was Judah's land to begin with, southern Judah. But also because they were just in captivity in this region, and now they're taking the power. Because it said Yahuwah will visit them and turn away their captivity. At first glance, the reader of this chapter might assume that it's actually the children of Judah who are slaughtering these Philistines and rooting up Ekron and driving out Ashdod and then taking their land and living in it and having folds of sheep and lying down in the land of Ashkelon. They might think that, but no. The reason why it's not them is because it just said that they will be in captivity during this time. And then when their captivity is turned away, then they'll inhabit the land. So there's another people there that the text is not talking about specifically, a people who have the children of Judah in captivity. In this case, it would be the same race of people who cut off the Philistines, the Europeans. It said the children of Judah will inhabit the houses of Ashkelon. You know what I'm saying? Ashkelon is just a city in the land of Philistine. Zechariah 9 verse 6, it says, and a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. So Yahuwah says he will put a bastard in Ashdod. A bastard is a person who cannot trace their genealogy back. When scripture says a mamzer or a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, aka the tabernacle, that's talking about a man who don't know what nation of people he is, and there's no record of his father. Since there's no record of his father's house, he can't just walk into the tabernacle because he could easily be a Moabite or Ammonite. That's what that scripture in Deuteronomy 23 was saying. However, this bastard here, this is a nation of people. So we're talking about an entire nation of people who don't know their true nation. They're claiming to be something that they're not. And, you know, we're going to use common sense. I don't want to say it because I can get this video deleted. But what group of people say they descend from somebody in scripture, honestly believe it, revolve their whole life around it, but they don't actually descend from that person? Okay? And that's who I'm talking about, okay? They run Hollywood, they run the banks, they run the media, they're basically the elites. You understand? That's the bastard that dwells in Ashdod. Yahuwah said, I will take away the blood out of his mouth and his abominations from between his teeth. Now, let me explain that, because that further explains who this group of people is. What group of people have blood in their mouth? Research blood light bills if you don't know. That's the bastard who dwells in Ashdod. And now we understand, you know, the blood sacrifices and all that. We get it now, right? These are a group of people who are known to do blood magic, and they've been doing it for a very long time. They brought that onto the Holy Land. That was their mistake. They were doing that in Europe for a while. Who cares? But they brought that to the Holy Land. Now their people are going to be destroyed for defiling the Holy Land like that. It says abominations from between his teeth. What group of people bites baby foreskins and suck the blood out of it? What group of people is so fascinated with blood? And Yahuwah say he gonna cut them off. He gonna take the blood out of his mouth. And that's what's going on right now. That's what those fires are all about. That's what those fires are all about. And that's just the beginning, man. That's just the beginning. So let me talk about this dream that I had. Came to pass in 7 days. I heard the sounds of explosions in the streets of Los Angeles. I saw panic overtake the city. I saw evacuations and lockdowns taking place. In that day, don't be afraid. Although everyone else will fear, you must remain calm, because this is the beginning of a good thing. However, there is no need to flee Los Angeles, because Yahuwah got the righteous covered. Now, normally I don't tell my dreams immediately, but I knew that this dream would happen. Something said, Ayub, this dream is actually going to happen.
You know, it's really scary when you can see the flames coming up over the houses 2 blocks away, and you're just getting out of the driveway, and the smoke and the ash is so thick you can't even see. We don't have any place to go. All our friends are being evacuated.
There were houses to the back of us, to the side of us, and to the street below, and that's where the problem came. The wind whipped up, the flames were up about 30, 40 feet high, and you know, you hear pop, 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 sound like a war zone. In fact, there were 2 big explosions that actually shook the ground. In fact, there were 2 big explosions that actually shook the ground. In fact, there were 2 big explosions that actually shook the ground.
These fires are burning everything. They're burning car batteries. They're burning gas stations. They're not sparing anything. I seen a video, man. It looked like the concrete was burning. I was like, what the is going on? It looked like the concrete was burning, man. So they're taking anything in their path. Yeah, there's explosions. Hell yeah, people are running. The streets are piled with cars, man. People are freaking out, man. They lost all their assets, man. Y'all gotta understand what's going on. These elites are about to go down. Yahuwah is creating a good thing right now. He's about to take away the elites from off the face of the earth. Who's gonna remain when the elites are gone? David's gonna be the new elite. David's gonna replace these people. Once we gather from the four corners of earth, we gonna be the new elites. We gonna be the ones that run this world and make everything function orderly and properly. Period. That's the truth. And the truth is, a lot of people are not ready. See, Yahuwah put this world under a great delusion. The reason why you think Jerusalem is in the Middle East, and the reason why most people think Babylon is in the Middle East, and they think Gaza's in the Middle East and all this other stuff, they think all these biblical locations are in the Middle East. The reason why is because Yahuwah did that. The reason why Yahuwah made the world fall into this delusion is so they can fall into a trap of their own demise. Just imagine if everybody knew exactly where the Holy Land is. Let's say we were taught from a child. Because if they knew where the Holy Land was, truly, they would try to avoid the prophecies from taking place, right? For example, the prophecies say that all nations of people will gather in Jerusalem, fight against the children of Yasharal, and then when they fight against the children of Yasharal, Yahuwah is going to strike them with fire and brimstone, and they're going to burn, and their flesh is going to waste away off their body. Their eyes are going to melt out their sockets and their tongue out of their mouth. And then the vultures are going to come and scavenge and eat them, and no one will bury them. That's what it says in Scripture. So do you think Yahuwah going to let these people know where the land really is? Because they'll try to avoid that by all costs. You think if we went to the Middle East right now, if all the Israelites went to the Middle East, if we got gathered in the Middle East right now, them Gentiles will not want to come against us. Why not? Because they'll understand they're walking into prophecy. They're like, oh wait, if the Israelites are gathering here, and all these nations want to fight against them, wait, isn't that exactly what it says in the Scripture? Yahuwah had to deceive these nations to get them to walk into their own slaughterhouse like a sheep. You understand? That's how it's gonna happen. Yahuwah had to trick these people. He had to make these people believe the land is somewhere else. So when we gather, they're not even gonna realize they're walking into prophecy. They're not even gonna realize that they're treading upon holy soil and that they're about to get flayed. They're not even gonna see it because they're gonna think the Israel's still in the Middle East. Even when that big war is happening, even on Judgment Day, those Gentiles will still think Jerusalem is in the Middle East. And they're not gonna realize it until they're dead because Yahuwah put a great delusion on them. It's very beautiful and crafted. I love it. I love it. And Yahuwah is letting us know where the land is. If you're on this channel, guess what? You're going to be in the front lines of the Exodus. Let me tell you something. We're going to be in the front of the Exodus. We're going to be the ones that lead the rest of the children of Yasharal to the land. If you're watching this video, we're going to be in the front. Because we're the ones that know where the land is. We're the ones who know where to go. You're going to be the very first Yasharalim to enter into the land and dwell in the land. You understand? You and your seed and your family and your children are going to be the first. Because you are the chosen few who know where the land is. Most of us are not going to know, not going to get it. You understand? We are the chosen few who know where the land is, who understand the prophecies, who know exactly what's happening and what's going to happen. And when the gathering takes place, most people are going to be so confused, they won't understand what's going on because they don't know Scripture. We're going to be the ones that know exactly what's happening. We're going to be the first people to gather. We're going to be the ones calling most of the shots in the Exodus. Do you guys realize that, right? because we're 10 steps ahead of the whole world. If you're on this channel, you're on this channel for a reason. Yahuwah put you on this channel for a reason. We're 10 steps ahead of the whole world. I'm finally showing you guys this map. Now this map is extreme, guys. When I say extreme, I mean absolutely extreme. And I'm not done with it yet. I'm not done with it yet, all right? But when it comes to the Holy Land, I got a lot of stuff on it. And I'm going to send this to people. You know what I'm saying? Just email me. Right now it's $25. You know, I'm sorry I have to charge you because this took me so long to make. And you can see everything on here, including if I, for example, click a location, I have basically a page worth of information about this location, plus images, a slideshow presentation, just like Patreon. You know what I'm saying? And I have this, I'm going to be putting this under every little bullet that you see. Like a lot of them are blank, like this blank, but I'm going to fill that out. I'm going to fill that out with information. And as I fill it out, you will see live updates. So if you want to buy this, email me. My email is on the screen, askayob10565@gmail.com. This week and next week is going to be $25. The week after that, it's going to be $40. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. And then the week after that, it's going to be $50. $50 is the final price because when I'm done with this, guys, look at the name of this map. True Lands and Migrations Map. This is really a migrations map, guys. I'm going to be talking about the migrations of all people. I'm going to be showing compelling archaeological evidence, linguistic evidence, even DNA evidence to show where all the people migrated to, as well as the scriptures. And you can watch the whole scriptures come alive when you look at this map. I even got not just scriptural stuff, you know what I'm saying? Not just scriptural stuff like when we get to the East Coast, we get into the scriptures of Assyrians and the Babylonians. This is the Sumerian early kings list. So we read into their text as well, not just the Bible. So we're getting into it all, and we're going to prove where the lands truly are. And this is the first little migration pattern. This is mankind coming out of Eden, man. The land of Nod, also known as Nuat, also known as Greenland, down into Florida, where Noah lived. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, all of it is the map is only like 1% done, guys. When I'm completely done, it's gonna be lines everywhere. It's gonna be bullets everywhere. I just started this mug about 2 weeks ago, but it took me a lot of work and a lot of time. This is a big book because under all this is a page. This is a page. Every blue dot you see, every purple dot is a page worth of reading upon this place to prove that it's the place that I put it. This is 7 years worth of research to back this. You can zoom in, you can find all kind of stuff. I even point out little ruins, like little ruins right here, little walls and ruins. I point out all that stuff, man. I pointed out all out. This is the land of Ashdod. And I put this as Ashdod before the fires even happened. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. That's Ashdod. And that's where the fires is at.